What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, and it's time to take the big screen anywhere. This is the Lumi Max projector, and I'm super excited to show you everything about it here in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the Lumi Max projector. Now I'm going to begin by showing you everything that comes included here in the box, and then after that I'll show you a demonstration of the projector so you can see exactly how it works. But we definitely have some nice packaging here. As you can see, this does run Google TV, so if you are part of that ecosystem, then you're definitely going to be right at home here. So we do have some basic specifications listed on the side of the box. So this projector does feature 320 lumens. It is a 1080p projector, however it does take 4K inputs. Now if you're not sure exactly what that means, basically all output will be 1080p. It's just that if you have 4K video, it is able to play it out of this projector. As far as the image size, it'll go from 40 inches to 120 inches. It is an LED projector, so that's definitely great when it comes to reliability. For sound, we have 10 watt surround sound. It is Dolby audio. We're getting one HDMI input. Looks like we're getting one USB 2.0 input. And of course there is Wi-Fi. There's also Bluetooth. And then with this device, we're getting 16 gigabytes of storage and then 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now this projector has an MSRP of $400. And one thing's for sure, projectors can get very expensive, and just like anything else, you do get what you pay for. So my expectations are certainly in line with the price of this projector, as honestly, $400 isn't really that expensive. But let's open this up right now. And again, really nice packaging here. And it actually looks like we have a carrying case of sorts. So that's really cool. I always like having a carrying case, especially for projectors. I feel like most people who buy projectors are buying them because of the ease of moving it. So definitely having a carrying case as its own home is really nice. And I like how it even says Lumi Max right there. So opening this up, we have, I'd imagine, the projector right there. We'll start with the smaller accessories. So we've got a remote with quick access buttons for Netflix and YouTube. We have the power adapter, and this projector does not have a built-in battery or anything like that, so it does have to be plugged in at all times. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, obviously the portability of this is great, but you do have to have a power source nearby. We do have some literature included, and then here is the actual projector itself. So we'll open this up. Very excited. So here we go, here's the projector, and definitely I love the simplicity of the design. It looks like we do have some feet on the bottom, also a tripod thread sized thread on the bottom as well. We have the actual projection lens, and then I'd imagine this down here is to adjust the focus. Then on the back we have the HDMI port, USB port, we have the power port, and then also a headphone jack. So maybe if you do have a larger sound system, you want to connect this to it, then the headphone jack can certainly assist with that. And then up top here we have the power button. But I really do like the design of this projector. It's super simplistic, it looks modern, it looks like something that would launch in 2025, so that's great. Now Lumi did also send me this stand. I'm not sure if this stand is supposed to be included or if it's just something that's sold separately or what the story is behind this, but I'm glad they included it because I certainly do want to have a stand with the projector. So I'm going to add the stand to the thread on the bottom. So there it is on the stand, and I've got to say it does look really cool, especially being on the stand. They also send over this 100-inch projection screen. Now the way this is advertised is that you can pretty much project it onto anything. So I'm definitely going to be trying it without the screen as well as with the screen, and I'm sure it will look better with the screen, but I know a lot of people prefer just to not use a screen, which again is why they're advertising it that way. Now since it does have its own built-in operating system with Google TV, that's likely why they didn't include an HDMI cable. Also, if you want to use a different operating system with it, like Roku for example, then those dongles already have their own HDMI, so that does make sense why there is no cable included. But now I'm going to set this up and give it a try. Included here is the SIM card removal tool. We're getting a quick start guide, and then finally we're getting a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. So this is really impressive. This is obviously with no screen. So I would say this is almost at the 100-inch size, and this is without me even putting up that screen. This is just against the wall in my office, and my walls do have a bit of a texture, which is why you can see that texture right there. But there's definitely a lot of things I like about this so far. First surprise is how loud the speakers are. The speakers seriously get really loud on here, to the point where I actually had to adjust the volume to, let's see what level it's at right now. It's at 31, because anything above that was just too loud. Now, obviously with the speaker, you're not getting a ton of bass. There's no sub built into it or anything like that. So if you want a more advanced audio system, then you can always use that headphone jack out to incorporate that. But there's definitely no concerns with the built-in speakers, especially for what it is. I also noticed that unlike other budget or mid-range projectors that I've used previously, this one really doesn't get that loud. And I think a big part of that is because it is using LED technology, but it really isn't too loud. There are, of course, fans in the projector, but it is not distracting at all. And then adding to that, the fact that the speakers get so loud as it is, there's just no issue there when it comes to either the noise from the projector or from how loud the speakers can actually get.
And we're going to be here, we're going to scrape it all. We have the button that just happened. Wow.
So definitely the brighter the video is, the brighter the output will look, so keep that in mind. So if you are watching a movie that's very dark, for example, your experience might not be as good as compared to a video or movie where everything's super bright. But for a projector that's $400, I feel like this is actually very impressive. Now I have all the lights completely off here in my office, and that's why this is so bright. And you're definitely going to want to turn off as many lights as possible when using this product. So let me turn my studio lights on right now and we can compare. So I have very bright lights here in my office. So this is actually a great test of this, and you can see that when the lights are super bright, yeah, you can't see a whole lot from the projector. So you're definitely going to want to be in a darker space. Definitely you would not want to buy this projector for any sort of purpose where you need the lights to be on. So if you have, for example, some sort of event going on, like a mixer event or something, and you want something to be projected, but you need lights on for that event, then I would say this projector will not work for that. And realistically, you're gonna need a really high-powered projector to be able to project an image where it's completely light in the room and for you to still see a really clear picture. Now, I did go into the settings and I did increase brightness to 100%. Just wanna let you know, it's actually not at 100% by default, it's at 50%. And another great thing about this projector as well is that because of the auto-focusing ability and auto-stabilizing ability, you can pretty much put this projector wherever, and if you just point it at a wall, you're gonna get a very clear and level picture. So just for this test, I just put it on this chair. I didn't put in any effort for it to be completely square or anything like that. But immediately after pointing it at the wall, it managed to have it be completely level and then also be completely square. So nothing's lopsided here. This looks like as if there was a TV right here. It's that level, and that's really impressive. And definitely compared to maybe 5 or 6 years ago, you wouldn't get that with the projector in this price range. You'd have to constantly be moving the projector. You'd have to really try to put the projector in a certain position to get the proper picture. And with this, you really just set it up and forget about it, and it does all the work. So let me see if I can show you what I mean. So I'm gonna turn it at an angle. Auto keystone correction in progress, and you can see it's that fast, and it's square once again, and it's perfect. I'm just gonna hold it and point it at the ceiling and see what happens. And literally that fast, it changes it to the ceiling and everything looks perfectly square. And this ceiling is not even flat, it's a sloped ceiling. This phone to be very popular for the company, considering that this phone has a lot to offer, despite it actually being pretty affordable at an MSRP of just $399. So this makes a lot of sense, but adding on the screen, as you can see in the back, definitely makes the picture clearer because I'm not seeing the texture of the walls in my office. So it is helpful. I wouldn't say it's a total game changer either. You can get a perfectly good picture just from the regular wall in your room, which I would say is really a great thing. So I definitely think this projector is more than good enough to watch a movie, even at the full 100 inches. And to address some potential concerns about this projector being 1080p, of course, 1080p is not the same as 4K. If this had a true 4K output, it would look way better. But for $400, you can't really find a true 4K projector. So I would say this totally makes sense considering that it is meant to be in that $400 price segment. So in conclusion, I do really like the Lumi Max projector and I definitely think it is worth getting. I feel like at the price segment it's meant to compete in, it does the job more than well enough, and it certainly delivers on all its promises. One other thing that I want to mention too and clarify is that it might seem like 2 gigabytes of RAM isn't a whole lot, but thankfully Google TV actually handles that pretty well. And I had no issues or frustrations when going through the various menus or anything like that. It's not like there was a ton of lag or really any unnecessary slowdowns. Now, compared to maybe some higher specification devices I've used with Google TV or actual dedicated dongles, sure, those are a bit faster, but for what it is, this is totally fine. It's a usable operating system. It performs fine. There's a lot of TVs that I've used that are really slow in comparison to this, and some TVs where the operating system almost isn't even totally usable because of how slow the TV is. But that's just not the case here with this projector. So I think they did a good job. I don't know what processor's in here, but whatever they picked is ample. And then 2 gigabytes of RAM is fine. Keep in mind, at the end of the day, you're just using this to watch movies and TV and do various things like that. So it's not like you need this to be the power of a full flagship smartphone. But in conclusion, I do think this is a good option. If you are looking to get this projector, I do have a link in the video description. It's an affiliate link, so I would appreciate the support with that. But what I most appreciate is that you took the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. But this is Kevin here. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, but I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.